Juris Lipsnis, an architect by training and a passionate cultural activist from Alsunga, Latvia. He is a Dūdas piper and the head of the well-known folk group Suitu dūdenieki, which has been at the heart of reviving and sustaining the bagpipe tradition in the Suiti region. Juris is a board member of the Suiti Cultural Heritage Foundation and has played a key role in organizing landmark events, including the Latvian Bagpiper meeting in 2018 and 2019, which brought together pipers from across the country. Beyond music, he has worked as a firefighter, journalist, and currently lectures at the Kuldiga Technical School of Technologies and Tourism. With a master's degree in architecture from the Riga Polytechnic Institute, Juris combines professional insight, community spirit, and deep love for Latvian folk culture. Hello, Juris.
Hi, Vita. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, long time no see, as you said, and it's
Yeah.
true, because we kept meeting at different festivals, and now there are not so many opportunities to meet. There was a break, but hopefully it'll change sometime soon.
I'm also hoping for that. Looking
So,
forward.
so Juris, you are an architect by profession, a serious profession. How did your path lead you to bagpipes and to leading Suitu dūdenieki?
Um, Actually, I have worked in different fields during my architect's career as well, and there were times in 1990s when there was no big demand for architect services, and so I tried different other fields, like you mentioned, firefighting, and then I joined Armed Forces of Latvia, and then when I retired from army, I worked for 10 years as a journalist, but it was enough for me. 10 years already too much. And then my involvement in folklore and in music started with preparing an application to UNESCO. Suiti Cultural Space is inscribed on UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. So it means we are endangered species, and we started, our community started to prepare this application. It was 2007-8, and the inscription took place in Abu Dhabi 2009. And during that process, I got interested. What are the cultural values and what we still have and what we have lost? And then there were some meetings in a community, and we made like a list of inventory, what traditions are still alive, and like cuisine and making of our folk dress. And then there was one column where we put items that are people have knowledge about, but on the third column was items lost and without any knowledge how it worked in the past. And when this inscription took place, and and I started with singing. 2013, it was December, end of November 2013, we went to Estonia. There is a southern Estonia region, Setomaa. We cooperated with them during this application process to UNESCO because they were already inscribed. Their male, no, not male, but Seto Lelo, it means Seto singing, was inscribed. And we made some visits to them to get some experience. And 2013, there was quite a big delegation from Suitu went to Seto, and there was one Seto local priest. They are Orthodox. Yeah. And the local priest sang with some boys from a local music school. 14 something years old, 14, 15 maybe, and they sang their old songs, and I was so impressed that boys were singing in so deep, strong voices, and this priest was like their leader, but he was also like not leader, but colleague. They are they're equal, and I was very impressed. And on the way home, we discussed this, what we have seen there in Seto, and I asked the then leader of Suiti women folk group. I asked, why is that that our women are very famous singers in Latvia and abroad, and why men are not singing? And said, I remember that my father was singing and grandfather was singing, but somehow this tradition disappeared. And Ilga Leimane, this Suiti woman, she said, yeah, I know my father also was singing. Maybe we should start sometime or other. And some days later, she made a call, called me and said, Juris, tomorrow will be the first meeting of Suiti men. And she invited also others. And the first time that we were only 4 of us, and Ilga the 5th. And we started learning old Suiti songs. And the number of men grew. Yeah.
Grew.
And 2 months later, we were 11. And also our Catholic priest, Andris Vasiljevskis, also he participated in this group. And we also participated in there was a, not competition, but evaluation of folk groups leading to Festival Baltica. Mm-hmm. This is Baltica behind me. This is international festival between Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And 2 months later, after the first rehearsal, we got the highest marks at the festival, and people asked, where are you from? And asked our leader Ilga, where did she find so many men and singing men? And that was the beginning. But this priest Andris, he was really interested in bagpipe tradition, and he didn't say
this is where I want to interrupt you shortly, because I wanted to start telling the story of your bagpipes, starting with this fact, because usually when some scholars speak about church in the context of culture, they usually say that the church did this bad thing here, or led to the disappearance of something in this part of the world. But actually, and practically, we often observe the opposite, how church supported a certain cultural heritage or actually started it. And by the way, even the fact that when we play bagpipes at different international festivals, quite often we are invited to perform in Catholic churches on Sunday, which is also a big contribution to this type of culture, which was criticized and discussed by many in Belarus for a long time, because for many bagpipes was in opposition with the Catholic Church. So I wanted to ask you about this contribution of your local priest, and how the story began exactly with him.
Yeah, and as I already mentioned, that we put bagpipes as a lost tradition on the 3rd column, but I think maybe that's something to do with his faith, Catholic believings. Mm-hmm. That not everything you see dead will be dead forever. Maybe that was an idea of resurrection, or what I don't know what the correct word is, but and yeah, he bought one bagpipes and gave to my wife to take home for me. Somehow he decided that I could be the one who plays, who
And
could play.
that bagpipe he bought from
From Edwards Klintz, from Master.
Edwards. Okay, we'll
Yeah,
speak about Edwards a bit later. Okay.
yeah. And he bought this bagpipe from Edwards. And I later asked Edwards how they decided to make bagpipes for the priest. And he said he was shocked about this request
Order.
or for this order. Yeah, and then said, okay. Let's make one and see what it will lead. And yeah, and my wife took this bagpipe home, but I had no any musical background. I don't have any education. I still don't read notes. So I tried to blow, not to play, but to blow this bag. And the instrument made some weird sounds, and but I didn't have any idea what to do, with what to start. And my wife tried as well, and she succeeded. She has some musical background, and said, "Okay, close the door from the other side together with this squeaking instrument." And yeah, that was it for half a year, maybe more. And then one NGO, Ethnical Culture Center, Suiti, their leader wrote the project and got more pipes from Edwards. And then she also organized master classes of Edwards. And that was the beginning. My manly feelings were hard because women can play and I can't. And I also attended these master classes, and somehow it led to get me to fall in love with this instrument.
Maybe let's explain here that your region is unique in the context of Latvia because only your region is a Catholic island surrounded by the Protestant majority. So
Yeah. Yeah, that is why I think maybe there are other regions, but our region was reconverted to Catholicism in the first part of 17th century, and because our landlord fell in love with Polish woman Barbara Konarska, and Barbara's family didn't let her to get married with this Johann Ulrich von Schwerin, because he was Lutheran, and he converted to Catholicism and married this woman and came back when his father died, and he reconverted all inhabitants of the community into Catholics. And that it was 1632 when being a different religion, you could be, it hurt back then.
Yeah.
And so this isolation led to preserving traditions. Suiti didn't mix with people from outside, so it means that there was no impact from outer world, where things were changing, but things didn't change in Suiti region.
And the attitude towards music and culture, I guess, is quite different in a Protestant church tradition and in the Catholic one. So maybe this also had some influence.
Yeah, there's a story about bagpipes and Lutheran church. Actually, this brother congregations in Latvia, especially in it is northeast part of Latvia, Vidzeme, where these priests announced that bagpipes are the instrument of devil, and collected them and publicly burned them in big fires. So But in our region, as a conservative, this bagpipe playing tradition was still existing in 1920s, 30s. In other parts of Latvia, it was totally extinct.
Extinct, gone.
Yeah, and only here were the last players who played, and the last, the most famous bagpiper Peter Schefflers died 1945, and there were others who used to play, but they also quit this thing, and there were no bagpipes around till this 2013.
Mm-hmm. And your priest, Andris Vasilevich's, am I
Vasiljev,
Vasilevskis?
Mhm.
Yes. He had no ambition to play himself. He just wanted to revive, so to say, this tradition in his parish.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Somehow, I think that he saw that there is this blank mm, area where that could be filled with something, and yeah, he didn't want to play by himself. And I know I make bagpipes, and I have asked him maybe I should make one for him, but he said no, okay. And he sees that this his idea is working, and he doesn't see any need to get involved anymore.
There is a priest, bagpiper in Slovakia.
Oh.
His last name is Matis, from Oravska Polhora. So he plays himself actively as well. So it's not so unusual. Well, it is and it's not. But is he still your priest? Is he still in your parish?
No, uh, actually, he was rotated to Liepāja. Like he served here 8 years, and then he went to Liepāja and became the priest of a cathedral. And then also he was moved to other place. But now he is how do you call it? Like a leave?
Bish
No,
Emeritus?
kind of. He took some leave for 1 year, and he is educated in arts. He is a textile art specialist by education, and he started working in Aispute Museum. It's 30 kilometers from Alsunga, as a supervisor of collections, and he still works there. And
Still in
no,
culture.
yeah, and he serves in church when there is somebody is sick or something, and he replaces if there is need, but he doesn't work constantly.
So the revival of bagpipes in Suiti region started with him and you, but the revival of Latvian bagpipes began a little bit earlier. Let's speak about Edwards Cleans a little bit, the first maker of the bagpipes, and how you learned from him.
Actually, Edwards wasn't the first. I think that the first who tried to make bagpipes was Maris Jansons, but he made some invented by him model of double reeds with plastic reeds, and in G major. I think he was the first who started making. But Edwards also was interested in that. I have I just interviewed him when I was a journalist, and he told me how he wanted to make instrument that is more similar to Latvian traditional ones, and he started using these canes from our legs, but they didn't work very well, and so he went to Estonia, where is a Ants Tau, well-known Estonian maker, and learned a lot from him. So he made some hybrid bagpipes. The shape and look of these bagpipes is quite similar to our traditional historical ones, but the reeds are more stable. He makes like there is a wooden body that replicates cane, and there is a put chip of cane of that that replaces this split cane. But not that Edwards was willing to share his knowledge about making bagpipes, but he was willing to share his knowledge of tunes. And when he was coming to Alsunga for master classes, I didn't realize why he is teaching us a lot of dance tunes, and it was for quite almost a year or maybe more. He was coming and teaching, and we were learning these tunes, but we didn't have an idea where we could use these tunes. And then I went to Dikši. This is a northeast part of Latvia. They organize international dance nights. It means that there are bands playing and people dancing, 1,000 dancers. And I went there for the opening. And the opening, they always play a group of bagpipers, not an organized group, but everybody who plays bagpipes can join this group. And I went there, and then people said, I wanted to go away. It's far from home. And I said, okay, thanks for letting me in, and I go home. Said, no, wait for a bit, maybe just see look what is happening. And there is one big hall where official dance groups play and dancers dance, and then there is the foyer. Mm-hmm. Is it the right?
Foyer,
yeah. And I saw that the people are just coming together and started playing. Harmonists, violin players, drummers, bagpipers. And I realized that I know this tune, what they are playing, and that I can join them. So I spent there more hours than I intended. And then I realized that Edwards actually taught us to play Latvian dance tunes that we can use in these dance events. Yeah, but the making of bagpipes I learned from other guy, Uldis Austriņš. He organized the master class. It was 2017 or 18. But yeah. It was also around the same region where this Dikši dance nights are, and I learned how to make this instrument, and I got.
And you became a maker yourself.
Yeah, but not at the moment. The first, I just, at 2014 when I. Already learned how to play bagpipes, I decided that we should unite our regional bagpipers in a group, and I just filled the form, filled the form of application, and
filled the form, yeah.
And put this our group, Suiti Bagpipers or Suitu dūdenieki, on the official list of folk groups in Latvia. And somehow nobody wanted to do this administrative things, and then I became the leader of this group, not with big knowledge, and but with I was enthusiastic about that. Yeah, and there were 7 or 8 bagpipers at some time, and these bagpipes were made by Edwards, but there were some problems with bagpipes. It happens. we had to take these bagpipes to Edwards. He lives on the opposite side of Latvia, and you got back the bagpipes month, 2 months, but without playing it is very difficult to maintain this skills. And after this masterclass, when I learned how to make, I also realized that I can maintain them by myself, and that was the beginning. And then this all this Austrian masterclass was like good push, and got interested in making, and now I make them. Sorry.
Yeah. What do you think is most characteristic about the Suiti style of bagpiping? Melodies, rhythm, maybe elbowing technique?
Yeah, that elbowing technique is we are well known for, but that was I mentioned this bagpiper Peter Scheffler's the most famous, but he is the most famous because there is only one recording of bagpipe tunes in Latvia, and it was played by Peter Scheffler's, and there is also a small piece in the movie in Latvia where he plays, and he hold his bagpipes between his elbows in front of him. He had a very small bag, and he was playing 5-hole or 6-hole, 5-hole chanter, and he was playing and squeezing back and making the rhythm of it. And today people try to replicate his style of playing, but it's not that easy. I think it's something to do with the different construction of this reed. He had this cane reed, but now he had this more complicated thing. And but when you listen to this tune, you see this it makes good rhythm for dancing.
So this is what you call elbowing, and it's interesting.
It was invented. This term was invented. It wasn't didn't exist during the Scheffler's time. This was invented by I think by ethnomusicologist Valdis Muktupāvels. People tend to give names to different things that are around. So maybe
I've always wondered, like, if you yourself, as the bearer of this tradition, do you perceive Latvian folklore, Latvian music, and bagpipe music included, as more lyrical and slow compared to to more southern types of bagpipes, more vivid, more maybe wild, and so on? Because from our perspective, even Belarusian folklore, which is not very very lively compared to, I don't know, Spanish or maybe some Balkan types of folk music. Even for us, Latvian music seems to be very, very delicate, so to say. Do you perceive Latvian folklore the same, or it's completely normal for you?
For us, this the style is very normal, but I think that is something to do with the language, maybe. For example, you mentioned other bagpipe traditional players. For example, I listen to Balkan players. I just hear some playing, but I don't recognize where it starts, where there is a switch of verses or something. But I when I listen to Italian, to German playing, also Spanish is okay. I somehow understand their what they are doing, and I made one bagpipes for a guy from United States. He lives in Europe, but he wanted Suiti bagpipes, and I made for him this instrument, but he can't learn any Latvian tunes, just can't. His wife is Latvian, she plays, and he can't repeat, but he plays some tunes of himself or whatever. And so I was thinking that maybe it's something to do with the language and with the environment where you have grown up, when you live.
The
My
landscape,
sorry,
the landscape.
landscape, but what is around you? And my grandmother sang lullabies or folk songs to me when I was kid, and I think that these melodies, these tunes, have collected, have made some, I don't know, some filled some space in my memory, and I feel them, but I can't feel. I wouldn't try to replicate some, I don't know, Bulgarian or whatever player. I can't understand.
But sometimes those differences, they resonate quite well with people from completely different parts of Europe. I'm thinking about Sergi and how he enjoyed playing with you together. So sometimes even people from far away, they feel they like the fact that it's different in style and also emotions.
Mhm. We also learned, you mentioned Sergei, we learned one tune, he played this sword dance. That sounds for us okay. Somehow, yeah, as I said, Italian, Sergei region, it's Aragon, yeah, Germany. Maybe we have something in common. I don't know, but yeah, with southeastern Europe, Balkans. Yeah, I don't feel this similarity. Even our friend Stepan, I really enjoy his playing, but I couldn't repeat his playing. Never.
Well, it's not the point. It's beautiful about bagpipes. What's beautiful about bagpipes is that those traditions are so different, not only in terms of how the bagpipes work and are built, but also in terms of how they produce music. I wanted to go back to Suiti region and to the period after revival. How do you keep the tradition going these days? In 2013, the community received its first new bagpipe. So what have been the key steps in building this community of pipers, and how did you proceed encouraging people to play? Did you involve children, or do you teach children in order to make your group bigger and so on?
Yeah, children is our weak point. They somehow they are not that interested in bagpipes, and I still the shortage. There is a shortage of student bagpipes. I haven't invented them yet. I know that this all this hostage from whom I learned the making, he also had an idea that we should make some simple bagpipes for children that are easily playable, but it hasn't happened yet. But we are promoting this bagpipe playing between adults. And our NGO, you mentioned the Suiti Cultural Heritage, we organize Suiti Crafts Days once a year. And some years ago, I invented the method how to give different people bagpipes for just for testing, but in a hygienically safe way. So I just take one bagpipes, put a rubber hose, not rubber, but silicone hose on the blowing piece, and I just stay behind the person or just beside him or her, and they don't have to think about too many things. The one is the blowing, keeping pressure, putting fingers, closing holes, but they can concentrate only on this playing. So I blow this bag, I hold the pressure, and they just move fingers and try to get the feeling how this instrument works.
I saw it in the picture. You kind of invented that special long tube
Yeah,
to be able to comfortably blow in.
yeah, exactly. And that was the first time I used it. I was asked to make some small video with one well-known Latvian rapper, and this television. They said that the idea was that we have some conversation, and after that we try each other's music style, and they said, you will give him your bagpipes and he will try to play. I said, no, bagpipes are a very individual instrument. I am not giving anybody them, even to this famous rapper. And then I started thinking how to do that, how to solve this, and I just put this tube, and I was blowing, and he was trying and succeeded. So I got the idea that it could work further on. So I think that this method have the 140, maybe 50 people have tried to play during these craft days, and I think that 4 or 5 of them now play bagpipes, so that's not bad. And regarding Suiti community, the number of bagpipers is growing, but not everybody plays in our group. Just some of them have played for some time, but then left, but they still have bagpipes, and then they can play individually. And I say that 1% of inhabitants of Alsunga can play bagpipes. It's 1,300 inhabitants and 13 or 14 bagpipers.
So even though your community is relatively small in terms of numbers, it seems that you have one of the biggest ratios, percentage-wise, of people playing bagpipes, even compared to such bagpipe-loving communities as Galicia in Spain, or maybe even Scotland. Isn't it interesting?
Yeah, but definitely we are the density of bagpipers is the biggest, I think, compared to many other countries.
10 out of 1,000. Am I right?
1,300 and 13 or 14 players. But we also promote this bagpipe playing outside. We go to festivals, as you know, and to many events in Latvia and abroad. And also, we invite people from around surrounding regions now to come and join us for sessions, or if there are some technical problems with their bagpipes, we invite them to come to us, and we try to help. And it also is like a community building process, not in just in our region, but also outside. And this year in May, we organized already the eighth gathering of Latvian bagpipes in Suiti region, and it started 2018, and this year it was already number 8. And not that there are very many people coming, but around 20-25 participants every year.
Is there any sort of competition between regions, like who will be the first? Because in many countries there's something like this, or is it just full cooperation between?
Yeah, I would say that it's mostly cooperation, no competition. I try to keep some in mind that people maybe play them this instrument at home or maybe in some folk groups, but there is no organization in Latvia that could unite them, bringing together, as there is a Slovak bagpipe guild, or maybe in other countries as well. Or but I have proposed this to Latvian bagpipers that we should organize some roof organization of this bagpipe movement, but yeah, they say yeah maybe, but nobody wants to be nobody wants to push this idea. Maybe it will happen sometime in the future. But one thing I just forgot to mention, the previous weekend in Kuldīga, there was a Latvian ethno days of youngsters took place this event, and I was invited to lead bagpipe master classes for young folklorists, and they all have some music folklore background. They participate in folk groups, but out of 6 people who participated in my master class, only one was with some previous knowledge about bagpipes, and that was very challenging. They brought their bagpipes. I also gave them a couple of mine, and their bagpipes were from some storages. They said, "Oh, we found there is bagpipes in our group's storage, and we want to play." And the first hour was spent just trying to revive this instrument to make it playable. But what was interesting, I had a Mission Impossible. The organizer said, it would be nice if you teach them some tunes, and you could participate in a final concert. And 5 youngsters with any skills in bagpipe playing. At first I thought it's impossible, but when we started playing, but I saw that okay, they don't have technical skills, but they have the music in their hearts and in their heads, and we succeeded. We played 3 tunes after, let's say, 3 or 4 hours of learning. We played together 3 tunes. Okay, they didn't sound perfect, but still. So I think that is maybe the way to invite people who already are in folklore, just to offer them opportunity to
New
try
experience.
new experience. Yeah, maybe some of them will keep this going. And one of folklore groups asked me if I can make them one bagpipes. They wanted to give to this guy who played them. Maybe it will go on.
You in Latvia, you have that big event, national event, where the whole nation gathers in one place. I don't know whether it's always in Riga or elsewhere, and you sing songs. So it seems that your tradition is rooted deeply in the singing tradition. And as you mentioned, you started with singing as well. Is it so?
Yeah, this is a Latvian national song and dance festival.
How many people?
2023, we were invited also to participate in a final concert. There are, I think, 40,000 singers on the stage and 60,000 visitors or.
Is it on a stadium, national stadium?
No, this is specially built stage. There is a Measure Parks. It's place outside of center of Riga, and there is a very big stage specially for this festival, and it happens every 5th year. And that was for us a big honor to be on this stage with 40,000 singers. Can you imagine the crowd? And we were given 1 minute to play one Suiti tune, and
It was
100,000
an
people.
emotional moment for you.
Yeah, and one of the most emotional things about this was that my youngest son, he wanted to participate in the festival. He is 33 now, and he asked me what he could do to participate there, and I said, learn to play bagpipes and you can participate. And on the stage, we were 3 of our family, my wife Aleta, my son Carlis, and me, and 6 other Suiti women and men. That was double emotional, just being on this big stage and being with my family members.
A small family and a big national family. And do people prepare before they come to sing, or is it spontaneous?
No, there are choirs who go through the competitional process, and they learn this repertoire, and then they are evaluated, and not every choir can participate.
So it's not improvised, it's prepared.
No, yeah, it's prepared, and the program is strictly prepared, and they go through that. Like one festival ends, and next is in 5 years, but they are starting the next day. They are starting to prepare for the next time, and the next.
I feel that your tradition revived in close cooperation with Estonian bagpipers and Estonia as a country. You mentioned the southern part of Estonia, which is the closest to you. But you also go to international festivals actively. We had an Erasmus program, which was a great program, by the way, and we visited many different countries. We visited each other in the process of that program, and you have a lot of experience playing abroad. How do you feel other bagpipers or other audiences perceive Latvian bagpipes? How do they see you as a representative of another type of bagpipes, or maybe you are something exotic to them?
Actually, I haven't asked others what they think about Latvian bagpipes, but we also, for example, when tourists come to Alsunga, because we are in UNESCO, on UNESCO list, and we are quite interesting, and we sometimes give performances for them, and people are surprised that there are. They said, how Scottish bagpipes have reached your region so far from Scotland? That said, nothing to do with Scotland, and they are surprised. And but mostly the people say that foreigners, they said that our bagpipes sound very pleasantly. You said mild, or what was
Mild,
the term?
delicate.
Delicate, yeah. And that is a point where people say that, yeah, we have heard Scottish and whatever, but said, oh, yours sound very pleasantly. And that's something, I think that might be the okay.
The impression?
The impression, yeah, what we make.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the landscape or surrounding, but it might also be connected with the climate because we visited Alsunga in Latvia in winter, and it was a classic experience. A lot of snow, beautiful, Christmas decorations everywhere. beautiful small towns with small communities. Maybe the climate has to do with the way the bagpipes sound, because definitely they have some. It would have something to do with the way they tune, because I had bad experiences trying to tune my bagpipes in exotic places, exotic from my perspective. So um, maybe the climate or the latitude, like how much to the north and how much to the south you are. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. But for example, our tradition, it comes, we know from, we have some knowledge from the end of 19th century and the beginning of the 20th. The most usually bagpipes were played by one person on different occasions. For example, weddings, um, festivals were connected with finishing some season of work. Today we play in a bigger group, and it's a bit different. And when we first went to this competition, not to evaluation to Festival Baltica, and the evaluators, they said, yeah, it's not traditional way how you play, but nobody said that it's impossible to do that, and it's not correct way, and it's not traditional. Yeah, but I think that when you play alone, it's easier to play because you don't have to tune perfectly bagpipes, and you play for yourself. But yeah, I think that this playing mostly took place in inside. During the summer, you work, you collect, harvest, and you play. If you play in a room, you can't play very loud instrument. Scottish play their bagpipes on the field of on the battlefield. Latvians played bagpipes in a room. I think maybe that's also the way why they don't sound very loud.
Hmm.
I don't know if I answered your question, but just my
Yes,
my
yes.
prof.
Yeah. How do you revive your tradition? Because I suppose it's still an ongoing process. Whenever you have a gap, even if it's short, like one generation, there are many different problems you have to face. Your playing is open fingering. Has it
Yeah.
always been this way? And how do you find inspiration? In what way do you try to stick as close to tradition as possible? You mentioned one recording, but what other materials do you have?
We have only one visual from the movie where this Peter Scheffler steps into the room
How
and
long is
plays
the recording?
um,
Just a
10,
tune.
10 seconds or maybe a bit more.
Okay.
And you just that is the only visual where you can make your guesses after that small video. And when there is audio recording, but audio is audio, you don't see how he has played. But I think, but this is open fingering, and
Mhm.
so we stick to that. I was in United Kingdom for a bagpipe conference, and the organizers gave us some close fingering bagpipes to try. I couldn't get over that. Um,
Mhm. I
so
see.
I think that, yeah, I think that we will stick to this traditional way.
Do you have any written sources like descriptions of ethnographists or scholars writing about bagpipes in Latvia?
There is one I mentioned ethnomusicologist Valdis Muktu Pavel. He has written a book about traditional instruments in Latvia, and then one chapter is about bagpipes. But I wouldn't say that there is a. I think there's still a field for research is not that many materials, and folklorists who came to our region to record tunes, they also haven't described the way of playing. Mostly these tunes were recorded from voice, not from bagpipes. For example, okay, I forgot forgot the name of this ethnographist, and he said that we went to the house of bagpiper, but his bagpipes were under the hay in a barn, and it was impossible to get them out and to listen to their sound. So they recorded, for example, there is one tune where one of the folklorists, Emils Melngailis, and he put the notes, and there is a text like tida 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 lita tida tida lita tida 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 tida. So I think that this man who he sang this tune, and he somehow made modulations of his voice, like making it sounding like a bagpipes. And so there is no written material where we could look in and find some answers. So we just work by instinct, maybe.
There's one example of a popular use of bagpipes in Latvia. I don't remember the name of the group, but I'm sure you know what I mean. There is a group which uses different types of bagpipes, I think. It's not the Latvian traditional type only, but also Scottish or Galician bagpipes, I guess. How do you relate to this type of promotion of bagpipes? And I don't know, is there any field of cooperation that you found?
I think that you were talking about group Auli. It is
Yes.
a bagpipe and drums group Auli. They play on stage and they play different music, but a lot of them are connected somehow with folklore as well. But they play Middle European bagpipes, German, Czech or Slovak.
Maybe Dūdas as
Yeah,
well, like
but
that.
as well, but definitely they play double reeds. Except Estonian woman, my friend Leone Barbo, she plays traditional Estonian single reed bagpipe. But we have cooperated with them on some projects, and we invited we participated in their performances a couple of times. And going back to this Latvian Song and Dance Festival 2023, one of the Auli bagpipers, maybe that was the whole group. They just pushed the idea that bagpipes are a great part of Latvian musical culture. And somehow they persuaded the organizers that put these bagpipes into big concerts as a very big, serious part of the performances. And I also participated, as I mentioned, this final concert, but there was one in the middle festival concert, and 15 bagpipers, about more than 10 and less than 20 bagpipers from all Latvia, and we were given some notes, how you call it? Okay, and we played together on the big stage, different bagpipes, and there were some who didn't go to the stage, but they were like not background, but
In the back.
Feedback, or
In the back.
If something goes away on the stage, they just from the backstage they just play the same, like to cover others if something that is problem. And that was amazing that so much time on the stage was given to bagpipes, and people maybe some from this realize that there is a part of culture we just have seen on the rock, like kind of rock concerts, and maybe some folklorists play sometimes, but this is very important part of Latvian musical culture, and it is and its place is also on the stage where the singers and dancers are. And, I think that was a great job of this Auli group who promoted that idea. And
Promote bagpipes as an instrument in general, and then
yeah,
sometimes maybe people will go into more details from there.
yeah. And we also there was a school children song and dance festival this summer, and Auli also invited us to participate in a orchestra. There was a orchestra of children, school children, 1,000 musicians on one stage, and one song was dedicated to bagpipes, and the Alsunga bagpipe tune was played there, and we were invited to participate in this concert. And we there were children, but this Auli group and 5 bagpipers from Suiti, we were on the same stage and played this Alsunga bagpipe tune. That was amazing experience being on the stage with 1,000 musicians, and they were playing different instruments, but with this tune we played together, 1,000 musicians including bagpipes. I think
So
that is right. Yeah, sorry.
in this context, do you sometimes find it hard to explain to your compatriots, to Latvian people, beyond the context of ethnomusicologists and so on, what Latvian bagpipes actually are? Does it take a long time, or have the bagpipes maybe taken the place in common culture, popular culture, that you don't have to do it anymore?
Um, I think the general public doesn't know much about bagpipes still, but I think with each this kind of big festivals or big events where bagpipes are on the stage, people get used to them, and I think that less and less questions from people. But still, many believe that this bagpipes is a Scottish instrument, and wonder why we play this Scottish instrument. But it's not that hard. Some years ago was it took much time to explain that this is Latvian. I say, but you see that on the song festival and everywhere. Oh yeah, I remember there were some bagpipes. So it's easier to explain and persuade them that this is normal Latvian instrument. And I always say in Latvia, bagpipes are since 15th century. It says a lot. There are chronicles where bagpipes are mentioned, so it means that they are for 500 or 600 years here in Latvia. So why Scotland? Scotland,
At least because we don't know how much earlier they.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yes. Back to that very interesting thing that you said when you mentioned your priest, nothing is dead forever. This could be the title of our program, um, of our conversation. Let's speak about the future now, maybe. Bagpipes in Latvia were once nearly extinct. Today they are alive again. What does the future hold for the tradition and for this type of instrument?
Mixed feelings about the future. As I said, that the children are not very interested in bagpipes. So if there is no next generation who could play them.
Don't they think it's a cool instrument? Because once you start playing on stage and once it becomes a curiosity, like in Latvia, and once you start traveling abroad representing your culture, and I guess this is how we perceive Latvians are a proud nation who want to be, you know, participate among other nations in different events, I suppose that this should be a cool instrument to them in their eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, but the a problem already mentioned that there are no student bagpipes. We must work harder on that. We must make these student instruments for children to give them and to play. For example, our NGO, I made for our NGO like training bagpipes out of the bag is Gore-Tex, and there is a blowing piece is made of plastic that you can spray it with some disinfectant when you give to other person. But anyway, we should make smaller, not that loud as ours are, quieter, easy playable. So that is a field we should work on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's also a very Latvian thing for me. You mentioning the hygiene of playing bagpipes so often. Never, I never face this problem elsewhere because usually you go to a festival and everybody blows each other's bagpipes all the time, and you just maybe you do care, but then you just wave your hand at this and you realize that's the way it is. But I am myself like you. When I was in a kindergarten, I didn't want to use a cup which was meant to be used by many drinking milk, and I always refused to drink milk from the same cup. So it's really interesting to me.
But what made me thinking about this hygiene thing? Edward Klintz took our group to Strakonice 2016. We were we were absolute rookies at the time, but he said you have to get some international festival experience, and we went to Strakonice, and there all bagpipers participants commemorated one bagpiper from Scotland who died with an illness brought by his bagpipes, with some malady. I don't know what, some
Some
spores.
mold, yeast, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some yeast, but yeah, the diagnosis was that he got this deadly disease from his bagpipes, and it made me thinking. And I also sometimes spray some alcohol into bag, just in time
Disinfect.
disinfect, yeah, just to prevent growing of aliens there.
Definitely, definitely, it's an interesting issue to address. But the last question I wanted to ask you is also connected with the future. What is your biggest wish for the Suiti region and its cultural heritage over the next 10, 20 years? Because it sounds like you are quite well established. You are under protection. It's a small community, but developing and sustaining its own tradition, also bagpiping tradition. But what's your biggest wish for the future of this small community?
Mm, them, I think that the main issue is shrinking of the community. Our schools are not that full as they used to be. For example, Alsunga had secondary school, but now it's elementary from first to ninth grade. My wish is that we still have a lot of children to fill the school, and people not leaving the area. And I think that nothing bad is not mixing with outside world. Maybe we should still keep our community not closed, but tight, quite tight, that we share these traditions, we keep them, and the outer world is not impacting it that much. Maybe that was my wish.
Great, great. Well, I wish you all the best. and thank you so much for this interview. We are both a little bit sick, which is like a sign of autumn coming, the first wave, and we are both down with colds. So thank you for fighting the cold and still talking to me about bagpipes.
Yeah, see you sometime other somewhere.
Yeah. Thank you, Juris.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
thank you for inviting me for this. It was interesting, but my English is a bit rusty, and I can't find the right words. But okay.
I still see you as a person who knows all those words most people forget. Usually, quite rare words. So you work like a dictionary. Once you see a word connected with bagpipes, maybe the names of different trees and those small details, you remember them. So your English is really good. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.